Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mambo number 5. One, two, three, four, five. Everybody in the car, so come on, let's ride to the liquor store around the corner. The boys say they want some gin and juice, but I really don't wanna be a bust like I had last week. I must stay keep, cause talk is cheap. I like Angela, Flangela, Sangela, and Rita. Thank you. Just take a minute to say, I know you thought that was Lou Bega, but it wasn't. It was me, Matt, and this is the Standing Room Only podcast with your host Rob
What up, everyone?
and Lopes.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about the Red Sox, like we do on most days. First, we're going to start with the ups and downs of spring training, and I'm going to go with Lopes. And what do you think about it?
All right. Well, my ups and downs on spring training, I actually had way more ups than I had downs, if I'm being honest.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good thing because normally I feel like with the Red Sox last few years, you can't say that about them in any regard. It's usually the opposite way. But my ups, number one up, which I think you and I, Rob, we agree, is Garrett Crochet.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he looked like an absolute ace. 15 and 2/3 innings, 30 Ks, 8 walks, .57 ERA. Like, he looked like a guy who you should, extend.
Yeah.
Be around for a long time. But
So you're saying trade him next year, right?
yes, trade him definitely because he wants money and they're only the third most valued.
I would definitely say that seems like where this is heading.
Yeah.
Based on reports. But,
Okay.
but yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think that Crochet is the biggest up. Adding him to the rotation gives us an ace at the front, something we've lacked for a while now. And I really hope that he can pitch close to 200 innings here. That would be really nice.
Mm.
Even if that includes playoffs.
100%.
But I mean, looking last year, I think he pitched 142 or 146 innings. That's the most of his career by far.
Yeah.
But I would like to see that go up if he's gonna pitch deep into the playoffs. I know they might try to limit him due to injury and stuff, but
Yeah, I mean, especially like in today's baseball, where was it 33% of pitchers get like Tommy John and stuff like that? Like, why there's no need to baby these guys? They're either gonna get hurt, they're not gonna get hurt, even if they had no prior injury history. Like, another, I guess, a down. Lucas Giolito, gonna go into him. He's a guy that he
can't stay healthy.
can't stay healthy. Yeah, literally, and
Much.
the dude was he was nothing but a 30-game starter for the previous however many years of his career. He never really got hurt. Comes to Boston, immediately injured, Tommy John, and then hurts his hamstring. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, he says he's 100% now, ready to go, but they're saying he's gonna start the year on the IL, or if not the IL, he's gonna at least be on the bench for a little bit until they feel ready. But I don't know, man. I feel like another, like a waste of a signing.
Yeah.
I get last year they were looking in the future with guys like Liam Hendricks and him, but at the same time, nothing but injuries. 2 years. I mean, we're just paying him.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We're paying him to be injured, or paying Yoshida to be a backup DH. I'm not trying to bust balls about the Red Sox about financial stuff because they finally spent money this year, so we should applaud them for that. Just kidding.
Oh.
No. There we go. But
Good job, Red Sox.
good job spending money. But that's a great thing. But at the same time, there is a lot of wasted money on this roster right now.
Yeah.
But that being said, it could probably lead to a much better team, which is why I have more ups. Speaking of great signs, Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
He looks like a guy who was brought into MASH at Fenway, and that's what he's gonna do, I think.
Yeah, watching him play in the spring, I mean, he was smacking the ball off that wall
Right away.
Yeah, immediately. His swing's built for Fenway Park. It makes so much sense to bring him in. He hopefully stays the full 3 years, but it's nice to see he's going to actually be playing third base instead of not knowing where he's going to be.
Right. Which, I mean, we should have known that there was no way he was going to play second, considering he never played second in spring training.
Hey, I'll give him props, though. He was ready to do it.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And I give him that. I mean, he's already being touted as, the leader of the team right now.
Right.
Which, Hard to argue that. Yeah, a 2-time World Series champion.
Right.
Regardless of how we got the first one, the second one's legit. We can give him that. So,
Yeah.
but I'm very happy with that signing. I think Walker Buehler is a good signing. I think he's looked really good in spring.
He has.
If he is anything like how he was in the playoffs last year, that's a pretty damn good number 3 to have. So I'm happy with that. My low key guy that I was happy about in spring training the most for me, like in terms of like not like big signing or like big money, was Cedon Rafaela.
Yeah, he was one of mine as well.
Yeah, because his biggest problem is plate discipline, which he virtually had none of last year. Especially he didn't draw a walk for like the last month or two of the season or something like that. Some weird stat.
Man, he loved swinging at things over his.
Oh, dude.
Oh
my god. But
couldn't lay off the high pitch.
Couldn't lay off the high pitch. Couldn't lay off slider to the outside. Nope. So but this spring he hit over 300. He had a couple home runs, drove in over 10 RBIs or 10 or more. Was it just 10 RBIs?
I think it was 10.
And he drew more walks than strikeouts, which
Shocking.
I mean 6 walks to 4 strikeouts. Like 6 walks for Cedon Rafaela is like, wow, good for you, man. Like you're figuring it out.
Right. I'm actually surprised at his plate discipline in one season. I know it's early in spring, but to see that type of improvement, even in spring training, is incredible. I mean, he drew a 9-pitch at bat. I never expected that out of him.
Yeah,
you know?
no, it's usually like tops 5.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he's swinging at everything.
Yeah.
And if it's a close pitch on a pitcher count, he's swinging at it.
Oh yeah.
So nice to see that.
100%, definitely agree with that. Trevor Story had a good spring. He's another up for me. I haven't gotten to the downs yet, obviously, but Story. I guess that goes back to Buehler. These are 2 big signing guys for the Red Sox money wise. They are meant to be these top dudes on the team. With veteran experience, the biggest issue obviously with them both is health, and that can also piggyback off of Giolito. That can, we can talk about a few players on this team that they need to stay healthy. But Trevor Story is a guy who I think that in spring, he looked good. He looked really good. There was a couple iffy defensive plays, but whatever. He was hitting 300 and hit with some authority. I think his OPS was over like 9. I think it was 950 or something like that. But it was over 900, which is good for Trevor Story. And as long as he stays healthy, I don't know, man. Like that's a really good thing to see if that were to happen. Him and Buehler, those 2, and that's the injury concern. But Trevor Story isn't up for me. I think that he looked really good in spring.
So to be honest with you, I don't have him on either one of my ups or downs.
He's just there.
But I just have no faith. He is what he is to me at this point. I mean, the guy just hit a full season of games with the Red Sox. Took him 3 years.
Yeah, that's true.
So I know deep down he's not going to be here for the full season. It's how many games is he going to last? I like his defense. Guy can't hit a curveball. He hasn't been able to now for like a year and a half.
Bo Gentry.
So I need to see some
with the curve.
Seriously though, I need to see some improvement because that's what it feels like. He comes up to the plate. You don't even have to throw the man a fastball. You throw 3 curveballs right down the middle. He's probably missing them all. He might not even
can't
swing.
read that.
Might not even swing. You might just watch him. That's what it feels like when he comes up.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like. What did he bat last year? Like 230, something like that.
Something like that.
The year before that was like I feel like he was in like even lower than that.
Yeah, I think his first year in Boston was his most productive only because he played like I think over 100 games that year, right? Like 112 or something like that.
I have no idea. It doesn't sound right to me.
Was it?
No, it doesn't sound right. It's because it's not right.
Was it 94?
It's exactly 94.
Oh,
That's
okay.
correct.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, it was like I don't think he's played 100 games in a season.
I'm giving the guy way too much credit.
Last year was like what 25.
He batted 250 last year. He batted 203 the year before, and that year he played 94 games. He batted 238.
Okay, so not quite worth the money.
Oh,
what?
Yeah, shocker. But I'm trying to, because it's the new season coming up. It's opening day eve. I'm trying to be a little more optimistic, and another good thing, another part of my ups pertaining to Trevor Story is if he were to get injured, which is a very high possibility. Marcelo Meyer looked really good, or Meyer.
Yeah, so he's my number 2.
He's number 2?
In my,
That's fair.
my ups. Yeah, I thought he had an incredible spring.
Hmm.
He's another guy who in the minor leagues over his career has had issues with injury. So I can't say that he'll be better than Trevor Story, but I feel like he should either be playing shortstop or second base for us.
Yeah.
He should be starting on the big league roster. He was the most MLB ready of the top of those 3 guys, the big 3. I feel he was the most ready. I know Christian Campbell ended up getting the nod to play second, which good for him. I think he's going to be a stud.
I think so too.
So I think him playing second, getting those reps, it's going to be great for him. His bat, I feel like it's already there. So
Yeah,
I know he had a down spring with the bat, but
the last couple weeks he really turned it on though.
Right. He started coming around. He did have a really rocky.
Yeah, it was like
first
0 for
half of
14
spring.
to start or something like that.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see him turn it around at the end and win that spot at second base because he deserves to be up on the big league roster. I saw it at the end of last year. Roman Anthony, in my opinion, is the one that I think should stay down in AAA at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just refine himself a little bit more. Plus, being on the big league roster, he's going to be fighting for that outfield spot. Where if he plays down in Worcester right now, he's going to get his at bats, and then once he gets hot, you can bring him up, stick him right into the lineup, and let him rip.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the big 3 overall it was definitely something to look forward to. I think speaking of Christian Campbell, I think it was a foregone conclusion that guy was going to get the job, which is fine. I mean, I'm not like mad about it. I get it. He's a right-handed potential power bat. So no matter what he did, I think he was gonna beat out Mayer for the job. I'm gonna say Mayer.
Yeah. I think regardless, he was going to beat him.
Yeah.
Because realistically, Marcelo Meyer is going to be your shortstop.
Yeah.
If they stick him at second base now, it probably could. I doubt it, but it could hurt his fielding at shortstop in the long run because they see him probably as the long-term shortstop after Trevor Story. So if that ends up being the case, I can see not wanting to play him at second base every day. Give that to Christian Campbell because he does seem to be working to be that second baseman. I know they stuck him out in left field a lot and to start spring because I think they didn't really know where to put him at first because he wasn't playing too well and they wanted to see what Vaughn Grissom could do. But once they started sticking him at second base, I mean, he made some good plays. He showed some good range. So, I feel like he's going to be a really good addition to this team. But I think Marcelo Meyer, man, I think he's going to be knocking on the door.
He's special. He looked really, really good, especially that last game in Mexico. Yeah, where
that
he
home run he hit.
It was a freaking
missile.
Damn, man.
That thing left in a hurry. I think I saw the highlight to it earlier, and MLB.com shows like the stats on it.
Yep.
So I think it was like almost 106 miles an hour off the bat. I mean, that thing was on a line.
Yeah, dude. As soon as he hit it, he knew it. Like, and you can tell even just by listening, it was like just freaking gone. Yeah,
immediately over the fence.
Yeah. So I'm really like I'm not trying to be like overly optimistic, like like when we're talking about like Trevor Story and stuff like that. But like I'm generally like very excited for the season, and my last few ups, I guess, of spring training is Richard Fitz and Sean Newcomb, who are the 4 and 5 starters on the Red Sox this year to start the year.
I like how you group them.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, try and be professional, But I like what they did, especially with Bayo being injured for who knows how long. Giolito, I mean, likely will be coming back soon, but you don't know what you're going to get from him right now.
It could be right back out.
Yeah, exactly. So, Richard Fitz, he pitched actually really well in that last game that he played in Mexico. He was pretty dominant. But before that, I had his stats right now. He was 14 2/3 innings, 14 Ks, 6 walks, 2.45 ERA. He looked really good, and his fastball jumped. It jumped. I think he wasn't. He didn't have a strikeout pitch last year.
No. They said his average fastball in spring was up 2 miles an hour from last year.
Which
that's a big improvement.
That's a very big improvement, especially for a young guy.
He's added a new pitch.
Really?
Yeah, it's like from what I was reading, it's a cutter, but I guess the way it moves sometimes is they call it also like a gyro slider.
Oh,
I guess the way it moves, it just kind of slips away sometimes. So like sometimes it acts like a cutter, and then other times I guess it's got more movement on it and just
Oh,
kind of
wow.
whips a bit more, so it's more like a slider than a cutter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess he's been throwing that a bit, and it's been working out for him. I mean, when we traded Verdugo, we got him, Weissert, and like a
Oh,
low
yeah.
level prospect or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Richard Fitz looked pretty promising when we first
Mm.
got him. I mean, it didn't look like somebody who's going to be at the front end of your rotation or something.
No,
but
but he was getting outs.
he looked like somebody, with his age and stuff, that if he comes into it, he could end up being either a long relief pitcher or a solid back rotation guy,
Right.
a 4 or
Yeah.
5. And it seems like that's kind of where he's sliding in right now, to the 4 or 5.
Mm.
I mean, to see his ERA under 2.5 in spring, I mean, he was pitching well, getting outs. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we need that in our
Yeah,
rotation.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you look at excuse me, if you look at his stats last year, even I think he didn't give up a run till his last start. I think he had like 3 runs or 4 runs his last start.
He
But
pitched pretty well last year.
yeah, I thought there was a lot of promise there with him. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do because I watched that. I was watching a lot of that game in Mexico which he pitched, where Meyer went freaking went off and hit that missile. He looked really good. He looked really poised. He looked really. I mean, granted, it's still an exhibition game, but he looked really good. I thought last year he looked poised and good.
We need that, man.
And yeah, you need that, especially with the young guy, because you never. It's just Boston, like it's a big market.
It's not even just that too, but we've had no starting pitching depth.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we need guys who can go 5, 6 innings. I mean, look at some of the pitchers we've had over the last few years where we're lucky to get 3 innings, 4 innings out of some of
Yeah.
these guys. If we can get a young kid who looks good and can fit into one of these, starting pitching
Mm.
for us, I mean, we need somebody who can give us innings.
100%,
And
yeah.
if he can do that and have a decent ERA, I mean, he's what, 20, 24, 25?
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, he's only going to get better, you would think.
Yeah, especially I mean, and I know that like last year there was a point where we gave Andrew Bailey some like shit for. There was a point where like the pitching staff kind of went really downhill actually, but I remember even hearing before like with what he did with San Francisco, it was always like a second year thing. Like you need to give the players time to acclimate. I think the only player last year that it didn't really work for, and you can tell, was Brian Bayo because he's a fastball kind of guy.
Right.
That was his best pitch, and like when you eliminate that, you're eliminating the biggest part of his arsenal. And it showed. And then when he started throwing the fastball again, you can tell Bayo was a little more confident. Excuse me, throwing the ball better.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, and Andrew Bailey, I do trust him. Especially after hearing like this, the second year is usually the year, because you look at guys like Aroldis Chapman, who's your new closer. That guy, he's actually my final up of spring training. He was a guy that last year he hasn't had a bad year in his career, but he looked really good in spring. He didn't walk as many people as you would think he would.
Velocity's still
Yeah, he had, I think his first pitch was 100.
Yeah.
Right. And he's still, regardless of how you think about him as a human being, he's still probably going to go down as one of the top closers. He is going to go down as one of the top closers of all time.
Right.
And he's someone that is good to have in your bullpen, especially because I feel like one big criticism of last year's team was that there wasn't a lot of like championship or playoff presence
Right.
to teach these young guys. And you had Chapman, who's a 2-time World Series champion. You had Buehler, a 2-time World Series champion. You had Bregman, 2-time World Series champion.
Right now you got pedigree on the team.
Yeah, exactly. And that's in your starting rotation, your bullpen, and in your lineup.
Right.
So right there, you kind of make all 3 of those by proxy of having these champions on there.
Right. They know
Better.
what it takes to win.
Right, exactly.
When you have those guys in the locker room, when guys start to get into slumps, they're there to pick them up.
Yeah.
They understand what the locker room needs to be like to be able to win. They got to mesh all year long.
Yeah.
Look at the 13 Red Sox. Look at the 18 Red Sox. You knew
Yeah.
from the beginning they were going to be a playoff team that was going deep.
Yeah.
They meshed. Everybody was getting along. Everybody was there to fight for each other.
Mm.
They had each other's backs. That's what you need. You need that type of leadership. When one person's down, you need the team to be there to pick them up.
For sure.
You help them out of that slump. And that's the thing too, is with a presence like Bregman on the team, you get not only leadership, but they know what they need to do to be successful. And when younger players are having a hard time with anything, they're there to be able to help them find the way.
Right.
And you need those type of guys, because if you just have veterans that don't care, you're not going to be a good team.
A bunch of Carlos Gomez's and stuff like that.
You're not going to be a good team.
Yeah. Shout out to Carlos Gomez.
For sure.
But yeah, no, I those are my ups.
Do you guys just want to hear a quick fun fact?
Yes.
I meant to bring it up a second ago, but you were talking about Dickie Fitz over there. Did you know last year he had 9 strikeouts in 20 innings, and he had 14 in the spring in 14 innings.
Right. Yeah, I mean that 2 mile an hour jump. Big improvement.
Big time improvement, especially in today's game where like the average pitcher like fastball is like 95 or something, 96 or something. Yeah. So you got to at least be average at that. Another person we forgot about whenever he comes back, Cutter Crawford. So I forgot about that. Yeah.
The baseball lover himself, Anthony.
Another guy.
He comes back.
No, he's never coming back.
We'll get to Anthony Rendon later, okay?
All right.
That guy loves baseball.
Loves it.
Loves baseball. Just a teaser. It's gonna. Yeah. You're gonna love it.
But yeah, I mean, so far, I had 5 ups on mine. We've hit all of them. I had Garrett Crochet 1, Marcelo Meyer 2, Cedon Rafaela 3, Richard Fitz 4, Alex Bregman 5.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I had Bregman as low as he was because I kind of expected it out of him.
Yeah,
With that type of a signing, you expect him to come in and make a presence.
Mm.
So I had him lower, even though he was one of our best players in the spring.
Yeah.
But, I had a guy like Richard Fitz in front of him, Cedon Rafaela, because to me, they were more impressive.
Mm.
I expect Bregman to be good.
Right,
so, same thing with, Devers didn't play much in the spring, but when the season comes around, I expect him to be good.
They're not guys you worry about.
Right, exactly.
So,
but you needed guys like Cedon Rafaela, Marcelo Meyer, Christian Campbell. You need those guys to get their at-bats and see what they can do in the spring. And, a lot of these guys were really promising. You hit on all your ups, right?
Yeah.
So
I do have a few downs. I wasn't sure if that's where you were.
That's exactly where I'm heading next. So my number 1 down, Lucas Giolito.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my number 1 down, and that's because we've now, like we talked about already, he's gone into his 2nd season here, missed all of last season, comes back, says he's ready to go. First inning, he's hurt. I mean, I have his stats right here. He pitched 1 inning, has 1 K, a 3 whip, and an 18 ERA, and he was out for spring.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, right. The higher the number, the better for ERAs, right?
It's like golf.
Yeah, dude.
That to me is incredible.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's just a hamstring. You probably shouldn't worry about it too much, even if he misses a week or 2.
Mm.
But, I mean, it's just showing to me that he's probably going to be unreliable.
For sure.
I don't see any reliability in this guy. And when he does come back, I don't expect him to be more than a 4 or 5.
Mm.
I'm not expecting him to come back and fight Crochet to be at the top of the rotation.
Mm.
So to me, I feel like he was almost a waste of a signing.
Yeah.
And talking about a waste of a signing like that leads right into my second one, which is Liam Hendricks.
Yeah. He's on my list too. He's actually my number 2 as well.
Yeah, because to me,
you just made my list, pal.
Yeah, exactly. That's how
We're
I
coming
feel
after
about
you,
it.
Liam.
I get it. He's pitched 4 times since 2022.
Mm.
Okay, he got injured. He 2023. He had the cancer scare, and then missed all of last year.
Yeah.
Now he's back. I mean, so in the spring he had 7 appearances. He was 2-0.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that's good.
But that's not great when your ERA is 9.95.
Higher the better.
He pitched 6 1/3, 4 strikeouts with a 2.21 whip.
But
not great.
Elite.
His whip's higher than his wins.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you put it that way.
Yeah, I don't like that. But that's not somebody I want at the back of our bullpen.
No, absolutely not.
I know who you want. Ryan Brazier.
I'd rather have him.
Yeah, hey man.
No, you want him before he left.
Yeah, you want Red Sox. Late career Red Sox Ryan Brazier. Before he learned what a cutter was.
Ryan Brazier. No, I don't want that Ryan Brazier. You're right.
He won a World Series.
I'll take the chance that Liam Hendricks finds his way because I know Ryan Brazier here will not.
Yeah.
Forgot how to play.
Oh man.
So who did you have as your one?
My one was Vaughn Grissom.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mo Vaughn Grissom should have used HGH.
Yeah, he was
He
my
probably would have
5.
made the team. That's fair. I only have 4. Even the last ones, I wouldn't even really consider it down. It was just more of a situational type thing. I'll get to that. But one I have Vaughn Grissom because it was a intense fight for second base. Although I think we agreed that it was I think at the beginning of spring it was either going to be Christian Campbell or Vaughn Grissom. That was their hope,
Right.
Because they wanted that righty bat.
Yeah.
The problem with Vaughn Grissom is that he did not do good at all. And it was you look
Hasn't since he's come here.
yeah, and I gave him leeway a little bit of leeway last year because he was injured, and then the week that he was supposed to come back, he got the flu and lost 20 pounds or whatever it was. Like that sucks. You can't that's unfortunate. But then this year
It's a long recovery.
yeah, exactly, and especially like when you're someone like Vaughn Grissom, who was traded for Chris Sale, who, I mean, he had good years in Boston.
He's the reigning NL.
But now he's the reigning NL. Yeah, he won the Cy Young last year for Atlanta. You have Vaughn Grissom, and within a year and 2 years, he's not going to be. He's not even thought about as being a second base piece on this team.
Yeah.
You have Campbell as your number 1 on the depth chart. Behind him, David Hamilton.
Or even Marcelo.
Or Marcelo Mayer. You got Cedar Rafaela, who can also play second base.
Anywhere.
So, if you're Vaughn Grissom, I feel like I'm disappointed in him because you had to go into spring this year and you had to kind of light the world on fire.
Right.
Just to be considered. Because it's not like Christian Campbell did. He started off 0 for 14, like we said earlier. But they wanted to between. It seems apparent that they wanted to be between Campbell and Grissom. Whoever did better in that time would get it. And Grissom did not show anything. And that's disappointing. My second one's Liam Hendricks as well for all the reasons that you said.
So before you jump, I want to talk a little bit about Vaughn Grissom. So
yeah.
He was, like I said, my number 5.
Yeah.
I had him down. He had 34 at bats in spring. He batted 176, 0 homers, 3 RBIs with a 535 OPS.
Yikes!
Like you said, he needed to come into spring and light the world on fire.
Right.
But I mean, it's to that point from a fan's perspective. He's going to end up being one of those guys, we traded Chris Sale for because it just wasn't working out here anymore. He needed to go.
Yep.
I'm glad he ended up going on and winning his Cy Young finally because he got robbed of it probably a couple times.
I mean, he's finished top.
It was top
5,
6 like 6 or 7 years in a row.
So, yeah.
But I mean, when you get traded for somebody of that caliber, and what we thought of Chris Sale, like he, as a Red Sox fan, he wasn't the best here, but when we needed him to be good, he was.
Yeah, you're always gonna as a Red, especially people like us. If you're a diehard, you're always gonna remember 2018 and that image that's gonna come up as Chris Hill striking out Manny Machado on his knee.
Right.
That he's always gonna be there for that. So yeah, I mean, when you trade, like you said, when you trade someone of that caliber, you need to come in and at least be a major league, at the very least above average player.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And looking at what he's done since he's gotten here, I don't think he's ever going to make it here.
No.
I don't know if Boston's too big for him, like it is for a lot of players that come here.
Yeah.
But he's never going to live up to what the fans expected of him, and I think that's always going to be a downfall as long as he's here.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, and I'm sure you're not saying, we're not saying he's a terrible baseball player.
No.
But Boston just might not be his spot. His best highlights in Boston was when he was with the Braves.
Right.
His first career home run was at Fenway Park. Like that's probably his best highlight as it pertains to Boston.
Right.
And wouldn't mind seeing him succeed. Don't trade him, give him an opportunity somewhere else and see what he can do. Because I don't think the opportunity is here. Because like I said, you have Campbell, who is the guy right now. You have Hamilton, who's a backup guy, who I think is better than Vaughn Grissom. You have Cedar Rafaela, if you want to move him around. If you call up Roman Anthony and you want to give him a starting spot, say Cedar Rafaela is not doing as good as you want him to be, you can be the Brock Holt essentially.
Yeah,
super utility guy, play second base. So like right there,
Rockstar for life.
Rockstar for life, baby.
Right.
Legend. But if you're Vaughn Grissom, you have literally no spot on this team.
No.
Not on this team at all. And I think it would be good if the Red Sox to if they can find a way to trade him, do it.
We need him to kind of light up AAA for a month or two.
Yeah.
Show
Get
that
that
he
stock
doesn't
up.
deserve to be down there. Because then some team will be willing to trade for him because he'll have somewhat of value.
Yeah, and he's still young. He's like 23.
Right now, you're never going to get the value that he was worth when we traded Chris Sale for him. We're never going to get anything close like that for him.
No.
So, but if he goes out and finishes, he starts off AAA like he ended last year. I think, if I'm thinking right, he had a 3 home run game in AAA at the end of last year.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
So
I
if
wouldn't be
if he starts doing that in AAA and shows I shouldn't be down here, some team will take a chance
Yeah.
that he could be their starting second baseman.
yeah, there's
But like you said, I just don't think that's here.
no,
There's-
and nothing wrong with that.
No.
If you can get him somewhere
We
else,
tried.
yeah, if you can get someone for him, then do it. I mean, there's always that persistent rumor I was telling you about earlier of Sandy Alcantara coming to Boston. Sunday.
Yeah.
That would be nice, but obviously, like you say, he needs to build that stock back up because right now he just looks like
Raise a throw-in in a deal.
right, exactly he's looked at as like, oh, that guy he's supposed to be pretty good.
Almost at this point.
Yeah.
His value has dropped so much since he's come here.
Yeah, and I hope he gets his stock back up for many reasons, business wise, for the Red Sox, so that they can trade him in for himself.
Right. You're on your 4th now, right, for your downs?
My 3rd, because I only had 4.
Okay.
Grissom's number 1, Hendricks is number 2, like you, but you already explained exactly why that's the case for me too. Number 3, this one's personal for me. It's Luis Guerrero. I'm really.
He's 4 for me.
He's 4 for you. He's number 3.
You guys are so high. Oh, you definitely were.
I love
I
that
really
man.
like him, and
He's
stinks.
Wait,
does
let's not go too
You're
far
right,
with my
So
buddy
I
with
wrote down his
Luis.
stats
He played like
of how he played.
Mhm.
So he pitched 7 games in 7 games, 9.53 ERA, 5 2/3 innings, 10 Ks,
That's good.
2.29 WHIP, 9 walks.
Yikers.
It's not a roll of Chapman. We're talking.
Yeah, no.
That's Luis Guerrero. 10 Ks, 9 walks, and 5 2/3.
Oh boy.
That's not.
I was
great.
so high on him. Like that's
I
why it's
know.
like it's so upsetting for me because like I was like this dude.
But
He's
here's-
still young.
No, and here's the good thing: he did not give up a home run.
That's cool. All right, yeah. That's
So
stuff
he's
you
not
can.
giving up the long ball.
Right, yeah,
A lot
okay,
of the runs probably have to come from him walking the ballpark.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So you walk 2 guys and then give up a single or a double. You could clear the bases pretty quick.
Yep, that's true. But yeah, he's my number 3. Obviously you heard the stats. It wasn't good.
Not at all.
Not very good. Sorry, Luis. We would love to have you on the pod one day. But last year, like the reason why, like,
No, I said he stinks. He's not coming now.
no. He's joking, Luis.
Yeah, you're right. You're way better than me.
Yeah, dude.
Way
You,
better.
yeah. Honestly, I look like dog shit compared to you. So come on the pod, buddy. But like I was so high on Luis Guerrero because last year he looked he 10 innings. Was it 10 scoreless innings or he gave 1 run that wasn't unearned
I
or
think
something
he
like that?
had 10 appearances. He didn't give up 1 run.
Yeah, there was that.
Really sharp.
Yeah, there was that game in Yankee Stadium. I know, granted, it was towards the end of the year. Maybe I put too much stock in it because it was the end of the year, and Yankees, I think, at that point were already like easily gonna be a playoff team. But he had that 1 inning against New York. I remember where he came in, he struck out 2, I think, and scoreless. I saw a lot of good things in him, and who's to say it could still work out?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously he's going to start the year in AAA. They did option him.
Yep.
But there's always that chance. He could first couple weeks he looks dominant and he'll be right up. You know what I mean? If you have a guy who throws as hard as him and he's striking everybody out, I mean, all you need is those walk numbers to go down.
Yeah,
to be
exactly.
honest.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of those runs are probably coming from the fact that he walked 9 guys in 5 2/3. You don't want to do that, and if you're getting 2-3 guys walking in 1 inning, it can obviously kill you.
Yeah, for sure.
So if he gets that number down, I could easily see him coming up within the first few months.
Yeah, and because you don't know what if Hendricks is what he was
Done.
in spring,
Yeah, what if he's
and
done.
yeah, you're gonna need someone to fill that spot in the bullpen. But yeah, he's my 3rd down. Very
Like I said, he was my 4th.
yeah.
My 3rd, to be completely honest with you, is Christian Campbell.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fair. Actually, no, that's definitely fair.
Yeah,
Even though he
so-
got the job, that is definitely fair.
Right, and I think he deserved the job because the way that he finished the spring was strong.
Mhm.
I have him as a down because I was really high on him coming into spring. You know, the way that he played last year, I thought he was going to come into spring training and easily win that job for
Yeah.
second base.
And
You
there's
know,
people comparing him to Barry Bonds. I'm like, ease the brakes on
yeah,
that,
no,
okay?
calm down a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's John Dowd we're talking about here, okay? MVP
But
baseball shout out.
but the first couple weeks, the first couple weeks of spring, I mean, he didn't look like he should be there at all.
No, yeah, like I'm pretty sure I want to say it was 0 for 14 to start.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Yep.
So I have him at the down because I mean, even overall finishing the way he did, from what I'm showing, he had 48 at bats, batted 167, hit one homer, two RBIs with a 576 OPS. So, I mean, his average was lower than Vaughn Grissom's. His OPS was barely higher.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But I think what he showed in those, because there was like a few at bats where he would hit the ball well, it was just caught, you know.
Right. Right.
I
yeah,
don't.
I mean,
Yeah, and there was like that game against Tampa Bay where all three of the big three, hit home runs.
Yeah.
That was an opposite field home run. Like this guy,
he's got power.
he shows that he can hit the ball all around. And even that home run he hit in Mexico yesterday, uh, it didn't look like much off the bat, but it just kept on carrying. It was dead center, you know. And I think one thing that definitely helped out Christian Campbell, if you look at his numbers from the beginning to the end, is that when it became clear that the third base drama.
Like he got confidence.
Yeah, like when it was like, oh, we're not gonna put you in left field, we're gonna put you at second. Bregman's gonna be the third base. Like when it seemed like it was shifting that direction, I'll get to the third base drama in a second.
It seems like he made a turn.
Yeah, it seemed it was like, wait, once you gave him like that, like listen, we want you to be a second baseman.
Focus on
Second base. It kind of just helped him focus on playing second
Right,
base
now I
and
don't
on
have to worry
hitting.
about going after practice to take fly balls.
Right.
Because now I'm a left fielder.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I understand why he's on your down list. But I don't know, man. I there was things that he was, like I said, like the opposite field home run he hit in Tampa Bay or against Tampa Bay. That was impressive. You know, like
Yeah. I mean, there was definitely moments where he shined. You know, obviously he played pretty well at second base for a guy who that's not his natural position.
Yeah.
So he played well, but like I said, I think I had him more on a down because of how high I was on him pretty much the whole second half of last year. And then going into spring this year,
Yeah.
I feel like he just didn't live up to the expectations I had of him.
Mm.
So to me, it was a down. But
That's fair.
I think based on the way that he finished, that he's going to end up having a good season.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be he's not going to bat 170 or 167. Whatever.
Yeah. No.
He's
yeah.
hopefully going to be close to. He batted 333 last year in the minors throughout all three.
He dominated.
So I mean, if he bats 285, 290 in the bigs, I'll be happy. But if he bats 260, that's better than most players.
Yeah. No, that's
So
still pretty damn good. I mean, the Red Sox haven't had a really consistent second baseman
since Pedroia.
Yeah. I mean, the 94 games of Trevor Story in this first year, that's about it. And he was pretty decent, but like defensively, I mean.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, they haven't had anything since that. But I get what you're saying, because now I'm thinking about, like, when you talk about Christian Campbell, it's kind of like how I felt about Luis Guerrero, you know?
Right.
Like, it's like I had such a high expectation for this guy because of what I saw previously of him.
Right.
And because the position that they have the potential to be, whether it's second base for Campbell or closer for Guerrero, it was wide open for them. And I thought that, oh, they can go in, or Luis Guerrero can go in and dominate and become the closer. That's how I saw him. But, Chapman earned it big time. Good for him.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from, and but I'm very much looking forward to seeing how Christian Campbell does at Fenway, especially, because like I said, he can hit the ball anywhere,
Yeah, and I think
with authority too.
And I think his biggest plus to us is he's right-handed.
Yeah.
So we need more right-handed bats in the lineup. And, he was never really a power guy from what I understood, like, before coming here. But I guess one of the things the Red Sox really wanted him to work on when they drafted him was to try to get more power in his bat. So last year he really worked on that, and he hit 20 home runs through the minors. So, and he's still, like, 22? Something like that?
Yeah, he's really young.
By the time you would expect his prime to be starting somewhere between 26 and 28, he could be a 30 home run a year guy.
For sure. Yeah, especially, like I said, at Fenway, which is a very... for like why we love Alex Bregman in Boston, hopefully the next 3 years, it's the same reason why we can get excited for people like Christian Campbell in Boston.
Right.
Do you want me to go over my last down?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That was because we talked about Vaughn Grissom. He was my 5. So
Yeah. My final down. It wasn't. I have it written as Rafael Devers. He's not really. He's not a down.
the situation.
The situation is the down because I get where he's coming from, showing pride in your position. That's fine. But the problem that I had is that it casts a negative cloud from the fans' perception of the team. I think that in house everything was fine. It
Yeah,
seemed
me
like
too.
that. They all seemed like they really got along. This team honestly is pretty fun to watch through spring. But the fan perception of the team is like, oh, Devers is being a diva. What's he gonna like? Should we trade him? Like all that bullshit and stuff like that. But I was more disappointed with the situation because like I don't know. You got to do what's best for the team in the situation. That's like especially last year when Devers was the first guy to say they know what we need to be good. They should do it. Talking about front office,
Right.
and then this year they signed Bregman. They bring in Chapman. They bring in Bueller.
Right.
They have a very solid offseason. And then the first thing you do when you have a camera or a microphone in front of you is be like, no, I'm not moving. I'm staying in my position where I'm statistically the worst defensive player at that position. And I'm not going to move for the guy that won the Gold Glove last year at that position. It looked bad. I can understand why the media got really they harped on that for a while and why the fans got really upset about it. But I'm glad. I mean, as of today, the Core officially announced that Devers is the DH, Bregman is the third baseman. They're in the business of winning now, and Devers understands that.
Right.
So I'm happy about that. But just the cloud that it had for a pretty good portion of spring training is a down for me.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I didn't have that as one of my downs, but it was definitely in my mind when I was looking at who I thought the downs were. Like you said, that painted a really bad narrative at the start of spring training. Especially because, like you said, he was the one saying last year, like, they know what we need to do to win, and they need to go do it. And this team is better off with Campbell at second, Bregman at third, and Devers at DH than to have Devers at third, Bregman at second, and Yoshida DHing.
Right.
It's a better team right now.
Yeah,
with Devers DHing.
That's a lineup that you also fear.
Right.
Like if you're a pitcher, like you're like, oh, especially when you're playing at Fenway Park, you're like, shit, I got to throw to Bregman and to Campbell, who have potential to hit it over that wall. And now Rafael Devers he doesn't have wear and tear on his body
Now
from
he's
playing
only
third.
focusing on
And now he's
hitting.
only focusing on hitting. And this guy, as a guy who was focusing on defense and hitting when he should have been DH the whole time, but when he was focusing on both, he was still putting up all-star numbers as a hitter. Like that puts fear in your lineup. And I mean, I will get to the lineup later. But
You will actually get to that next.
yeah, very next up next. But I'm like you said, it's much better to have the team that they have with Devers at DH, Bregman at third, and I'm glad that cooler heads prevailed, and that it was fine. Like it feels like now they're in the business of winning. I don't just it doesn't just sound like words to me.
Right.
Now it feels like when they say we're in the business of winning, that they are in the business of winning.
Right, and I feel like how you were saying it, where, Devers was prideful, but I also think at the same time it was a little taken out of hand. I think he was kind of always ready to DH, like if they really wanted him to. I don't think he was gonna, ever let it get to the point where he was gonna want to be traded or anything like that. I think he understands where they are and that the team is better with him at DH. Like it just makes sense.
100%. Yeah.
Like if they went out and got somebody different instead of Alex Bregman, somebody who played a different position, he'd be still playing third base.
Yeah.
But Bregman was the best bat available at that point in free agency. They went out and got him, which the fans wanted them to spend the money. So at that point, when you do have to make a move like that, to make the team better, you do need to move away from your position when you're statistically the worst at it.
100%. Yeah, especially because Devers is also a champion. He understands what it takes. I like I said, I'm just glad that cooler heads prevailed, and now that situation is cleared, I'm just even like that's probably why I have so many ups on my ups and downs list compared to my downs because I'm just very optimistic about this team, especially when you look at the rest of the AL East and the Yankees with all their injuries and the fact that they haven't really done much to address those injuries. And I'm not really. I think Baltimore is a good team, but I think that their pitching staff got worse.
Yep.
Um,
And even their lineup did.
yeah.
They lost 44 homers or whatever from Santander.
Yeah, I mean they got Tyler O'Neill, which is cool.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
not 44
but that's not
homers.
that's not 44 home runs and how many I don't know how many RBIs Santander had, but I know that I don't think that Tyler O'Neill had double the RBIs as he had compared to home runs because he wasn't a good hitter with people on base. So I'm not as fearful of Baltimore as I was last season. Right. Toronto.
I feel like Toronto right now is in a really weird place.
Yeah. I don't know what to think. Like a part of me is like, well, they're Toronto. The other part of me is like, but they still have some talent,
right?
And they are still pretty good.
Right, like last year, Bichette had a bad year.
Yeah.
But if he goes back to what he was prior to that, their lineup's going to be feared again.
Yeah.
And their biggest ifs right now are Vlad Guerrero, because who knows if he's going to stay. They might end up trading him. And, I mean, they added, Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
What's he really at this point?
43, 42 now.
What's he going to be? Last year he couldn't go more than a couple innings without getting rocked.
They had that good reliever though. That guy, I kind of want the Hoffman from Philly. They did add him. Yeah. I like him. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Boston, but
and they stole Santander.
Yeah, they have Santander. Yeah,
the Orioles. So
and I mean, based off of like other, I feel like Toronto's always been a good spot for power hitters who showed the potential of being consistent power hitters to go and be consistent power hitters like Jose Bautista and stuff and Edwin Encarnacion. So I think that Santander will probably not maintain 44 home runs, whatever he hit last year.
But he's gonna still be.
He's gonna be hitting some dingers and.
Right, look at Marcus Semien when he was there.
Right, exactly. So I think Toronto's. I don't know. I can't. I think
they're weird.
I'm 50-50 on them. I don't know.
Weird spot.
They could be this. They could be that. Much like anything. But I really they're one of the few times where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna be.
Right, and then the Rays are just the Rays.
The Rays are the Rays. Yeah, they're gonna either win 98 games and get bounced in the first round, or win 82 games and not make the playoffs. So who knows?
They are what they are.
Yeah.
And they're not looking to get better. So
no, because that requires spending money.
Right.
Which they don't do that. No.
Them Athletics, they don't do that.
Yeah, now they're gonna be playing the Yankees play.
The good old Athletics.
Playing the great city of. I love that city.
Yep,
that's a good city.
I love that.
It's a great city.
The Athletics.
Are you pausing for dramatic effect?
No.
I'm just saying their name.
Yeah, that's what they are. By the hat. It's just a green hat.
So you want to get into the starting lineup next?
Yes, let's do it. I'll let you start.
Yeah, so the lineup is out. We did have predicted starting lineups, but the lineup is officially out. My predicted lineup is the starting lineup. It's Jarren Duran leading off, Devers batting second, Bregman batting third, Casas in the cleanup, Trevor Story behind him. Then you got Christian Campbell at 6, Wilyer Abreu at 7, Connor Wong at 8, and then Rafaela, who was the best number 9 hitter in baseball last year, staying there, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah. It's
almost right.
It's almost right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's almost right. I don't like Devers batting second. I think that's not good. I think he's a guy that you want to drive in runs, and batting second typically is not the spot for a guy like him, a power hitter like him.
Right.
Casas batting cleanup, not a fan.
No,
just not a fan. Sorry.
I might be.
Yeah, might be. It could be. It could be great.
It could be great.
He looks like he's gonna be a superstar in that documentary that's coming out. I give him credit. He's a fun guy. But do I want him to bat cleanup for my baseball team? Not particularly.
Right now.
No, not particularly right now. I can't. I gotta be honest with you. Even if you wanted to swap that out and have Casas bat 2 and Devers bat 4, I would prefer that. But that would also look weird too.
I mean, honestly, if the way that I could see the lineup shifting out eventually would be to move Campbell into the 2, have Devers be the 4, and Casas drops to the 6.
Yeah. But then you got another thing, I don't like Trevor Story at
Story
5. I don't like it at
I
5.
know you might have to move Casas up to 5 and let
Yeah.
Trevor Story drop down into the 6 hole at that point.
Yep. I like 1 Duran leadoff.
Yeah,
Great.
Him and Rafaela 1 and 9.
Yep.
Makes so much sense.
Bregman at 3, I'm cool with. That's fine.
Right.
Wong at 8, Abreu at 7.
Yep.
I like that. I like most of the lineup.
Right.
I think that they're all for the most part in the right spot. But I don't like the idea of Devers batting second. I just don't like it.
I also don't like having a lefty to start your lineup.
That's true, yeah. Like it could have worked out. I mean,
plus also like I get the the motive behind it.
Mhm.
I get that because you expect Duran to extend a lot of singles into doubles like he did last year.
Mhm.
So then Devers comes up second and has a chance to already get an RBI. So I get it.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel like Devers' bat is made to be the 2-hitter.
No, that's exactly. It's not. I feel like who I'm trying to look at the rest of the lineup. Like who would be a good number 2? I mean, you're probably right. Christian Campbell probably is the best.
He would.
He would probably be the best
would
at
hope
that.
He ends up being the
Yeah,
guy.
depending on what he does right now. But even like times where I'm like, maybe like I know he's not. I know I just said I don't like him at 5, but like if Trevor Story's bad in second, that would be more palatable to me because like you'll see what he can do because he did have a good spring. I mean,
Right,
I'm
if
trying.
He gets out. It's early in
Yeah.
the beginning of those guys. You
Right.
don't have him coming up with possibly 2-3 guys on base with
Yeah.
with an out and then grounds into a double play or strikes out.
Yeah.
Like you don't want that. You want guys like I agree with you more of like having Trevor Story at the 2 more than the 5. But if Campbell ends up being what he was last year in the minors, he's the 2.
Yeah, for sure.
330 average, 20 home runs.
Yeah.
So you want it your second.
Yeah, exactly. And
Especially behind a guy who's bat 300 and it turns every single into a double.
Yeah, and you have a guy who's batting in front of him that Bregman at 3 who could be, a monster at Fenway Park.
I know he could be 35 plus.
Yeah,
runs.
and people forget that Bregman's he's young. He's 30. Is he 31, 32?
Yeah, I
That's
think
rather young.
30.
That's not old. That's not young. It's not old.
No,
but
still
like,
in the prime though.
yeah, still there. He won MVP last year. He had a good season last year. It wasn't as good as it was in 2019, but I'm not trying to harp on stats from 6 years ago. So, but I going off what recently, I think that Bregman is like this. I like that. I like where he is in the lineup. Like I said, I like the lineup. I guess overall, but
We'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, see how it plays out. I just don't see Devers being the number 2 guy.
No, it just doesn't make sense to me.
No,
Too much power to be there.
exactly.
Yeah. It's like when I look at Shohei Ohtani leading off for the Dodgers.
It's strange.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Like you have a guy who's hitting 50 home runs leading off. Like that guy should be knocking in a guy or 2 when he comes up to hit that home run.
It's even like wilder. Like it for me. I don't know. Maybe it's like an aesthetic thing, but like when I see like a lineup card and I see DH1,
it's weird.
That's weird to me. I mean, like it's usually like center fielder, second baseman.
Right, but when your DH also steals 50 bases,
then it's like I guess whatever. If you want to do that, if you're Shohei Ohtani, then wherever you want to go, man, that's fine with me. I'm not
50 homers, 50 stolen bases.
Yeah,
I'm first guy ever to go 50-50.
Yeah, I'm not. I no matter where that guy
weird.
plays. Yeah, it is strange. Like because maybe it's like the old school baseball fan in me because I feel like we're like how we are as baseball fans. We're like
that guy's the slap hitter.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, right. So
I'm just slap the ball into the outfield and we'll knock him in. Shohei Ohtani's like, how about I hit it 500 feet?
Or you can do that.
Every time I come up.
Oh my god, dude. But yeah, no, I it's all right. It's not. It's a good. I think it's still a
solid lineup.
It's a solid. I think it's still a run producing lineup. It's just
Right.
I think that most of the runs should be produced by a Devers.
Runs,
some of the runs, a good portion.
So runs, I don't feel like are going to be our issue this year.
No. I don't think so either.
I feel like our issue is going to be pitching,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a perfect time to start talking about starting pitching.
Yes. The starting 5 was released, and it's officially number 1, Garrett Crochet. Shocker.
Makes sense.
He's gonna be here for a long time based off the recent reports about the extension.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that.
More than 2 years.
Yeah, maybe we can get a little quick on that later. Number 2, Tanner Houck, great season last year, very happy with that. Number 3, Walker Bueller. 4, Richard Fitz,
Walker,
Dickie
Texas
Fitz.
Bueller.
Walker,
Big Dick
Texas.
Fitz.
Big Dick Fitz, pitching number 4. And Sean Newcomb, Massachusetts
so
own.
surprising.
It's really weird. I'm happy for the guy because
Yeah.
he's from, the area. He's living out his
Had a great
dream.
spring.
He had .83 ERA.
Yeah,
I
great
was
spring.
shocked to see that. He looked really good. He looks like a guy who is playing on his favorite team, and we all know how much that works out for people.
Ride the wave.
Ride the wave, baby.
Even if it's for 1 year, give us one good season.
Yeah, right. We'll take it, Sean Newcomb.
Because we're gonna need him. Because Giolito.
I don't know about that guy.
Reliable.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the starting 5: Crochet, Houck, Bueller, Fitz, Newcomb.
And I think right now that's perfect.
That's perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, the way spring played out, we're missing out on Cutter Crawford for the start of the year. Giolito can't stay healthy at all. So with
And Bayo.
and Bayo starting on the IL, this is the best 5.
Yeah,
And
for
it's
sure.
in the right order, in my opinion.
100%. I think initially my initial was Newcomb
4.
4 and Fitz 5 because it would have been
ERA
lefty
based
right.
probably,
Yeah,
or
that
that
but
too.
also the lefty righty dynamic. But
Right. Yeah.
Either way, it still works.
Yeah, no, it's a good starting 5, and I mean it's better than what we had last year.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
that's 100%. Yeah, yeah. Although they did start off good.
They did.
Yeah,
They did.
but I like Brian Bayo, but he ain't an opening day starter.
No.
He's not an ace. Not yet. Maybe.
Scott.
Crochet,
Scott Baio.
Scott
He
Baio.
looks just like him. That's his cousin.
Like Crochet pitched so well in spring.
Yeah,
He
dominant, dude.
dominant.
Dominant.
Like, we finally have an ace again, and that takes a lot of pressure off of a Brian Bayo,
Yep.
Tanner Houck, a Walker Bueller. They're not going up against the best now. They don't have, if they're having an off day, they could still win.
Yeah.
If you're going up against the ace, you have to be on your A game every time you go
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
But I feel like we're with these guys we can hopefully with Newcomb and Fitz we can get deep into games. Same with Bueller, but
Yeah,
we know
jury's still out on that.
we know with Crochet and Houck, they are of the caliber to be giving you 6-7 innings.
Yeah.
Bueller a few years ago was, and
Yeah.
if he gets back into that form,
I'll take playoff Bueller of last year. I would take that.
That would be a
you know?
solid start.
That's a very good starting 3, and then like you said, Fitz and Newcomb are the best situation you can make of Bayo and the injuries that they've had.
Right.
Because like what we talked about earlier with Fitz, his fastball went up 2 miles. He looks good. He looks really good. He looks very poised and major league ready. And
Right.
Sean Newcomb has been there before. He's had some good moments in baseball. He's had some good seasons, right? I don't really know about his stats beforehand. I only knew he was from Massachusetts, which I think is cool. I like seeing that stuff. Like that's the fun part of baseball. Other than if your team wins, that's really fun too. But Sean Newcomb being from Massachusetts, being on the Red Sox, like that's a cool thing to see. Especially because I wouldn't expect that. You would not, if you would have told me that Sean Newcomb be the number 5 starting pitcher on the Red Sox this year, I would have been like, you're lying to me.
Right.
Stop. But I like it.
He's had some good years.
Yeah.
But other than the first 3, his ERA since then's been 6.6.
Ooh.
Yeah, not great.
No, it's not great. But his WHIP's only at 1.7.
That's not bad.
I mean, and
But he had a
pitching's
really
weird.
good. Yeah, no, it is weird. And he had a really good year in 2018. 12-9, 3.9 ERA, 160 Ks.
Oh wow.
So I mean, he had a decent year.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, it's like, you look at it with relief pitching, where 1 year a guy will be absolutely dominant, and then for a year or 2 he can't get anybody out, and then goes back to being dominant again.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we could get one more good year out of Sean Newcomb,
Hey,
it's all he needs to do is give us one.
stranger things have happened in baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's a weird sport.
it's a very weird sport. It's one of those sports where you're like, hey, this guy's gonna be really good, and then he's not, and then this guy, this guy's not gonna make the team, and he makes the team, and he's dominant.
Right, and you have guys getting drafted in the 13th round that you never even heard of before, shooting up the ranks, and
Right.
it's like,
Yeah. That's why baseball is the best sport, in my opinion. Yeah, but I like the starting 5. I really do.
yeah, me too.
It's a placeholder starting 5. I think that
but it's as good as it can be.
it's as good as it can be. And when Giolito comes back and Bayo comes back, Crawford comes back, whoever comes back first, they are.
There's gonna be some fighting.
It's gonna be for some fighting for sure. But I think that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's
So,
a very
I'll take
good
that.
problem.
especially after last year. The big issue, especially the second half of the year, was the pitching.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I felt like some games didn't matter how many runs we scored, we would lose.
like that series against LA, the Dodgers, right after the All-Star break. At that point, they were 10 games up, 10 games over 500. They were like right there with the wild card. They had the lead in the 8th inning or later in 2 of the 3 games, and they lost all 3 of them.
Yep.
So, thanks a lot, Zach Kelly.
Yeah,
We would love to have you on the podcast, Zach Kelly, if you want to come on. That'd be great.
the bullpen was not a star last year. We could say that.
No, it was not an up.
No,
It was not an up.
not an up. They
You
were
put that with
terrible.
Vaughn Grissom of this year.
Yeah, so I mean, if the bullpen could be any better this year than it was last year, we already have a plus.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yep. And based off what they've done, it looks like the bullpen. I mean, on paper, everything's on paper right now, but I think the bullpen does look better. You
Right.
got Chapman is officially the closer.
Yep.
Don't know who the setup man's going to be. Could be Whitlock. Could be Slayton. Forget about Justin Slayton, another good player. Hendricks obviously gonna be in the bullpen.
yeah, not gonna be him.
Yeah, no, he's not. I mean, but he's gonna be in the bullpen.
Right.
Wherever he may be. Who else? Weissert and Kelly made the team. Zach Kelly, you're great. Don't take what I said earlier. But
He's
you know,
not coming on the podcast now.
fine. You know what? Screw you, Zach Kelly.
Now he's definitely not coming on the podcast.
We'll see about that, Zachary.
He's not going to come to one of our houses.
That's true. Yeah, man. Oh, Zach Kelly's coming
Singer.
over. Hey, babe, can you get the dogs in the other room? Zach Kelly's coming over today.
It's like, oh, all right. That's Josie.
Yeah, that's my little Chihuahua. She's a bitch.
I know you guys thought I was Lou Bega, but I'm also his dog.
Yeah, that's perfect impression, by the way. But yeah, good starting 5. Like we said, I am optimistic about the bullpen. I think they're gonna be much better this year.
Yeah, can't be any worse.
Can't be any worse, exactly.
Yeah.
So
They've been so bad for so long. And it's like the only thing that they talk about. Like, I swear, like, oh, they need to get hitters. They need to get starting pitching. It's like, we need a bullpen. We haven't had a bullpen since 2018.
Yeah.
Like,
we need reliability.
even then, you had to put Chris Sale in the bullpen in the World Series to close out the games. You know.
nah, Craig Kimbrell was definitely not tipping pitches.
What are you talking about?
I remember watching that American League Series, championship. I was like, and we kept winning, and I was like, oh, we're doing this guy's so. He just. I was staring very intimidatingly.
With the arm hanging,
My arm hanging. No.
Yeah.
the Jesus pose.
Yeah, we need some reliability back there.
Yeah.
Let's do it with arms wide open.
Wide open.
That's what he's talking about. He's talking about being on a cross.
T-posing.
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was just talking about giving hugs the whole time. Oh,
Oh. Makes a lot of sense.
damn. I guess I don't know much about Creed.
Welcome to the Creed podcast.
Yeah, this is where we talk about Creed. We got you.
My own prison.
We tricked you for an hour. This
Yeah,
is
you-
really about Creed.
We have Scott Stapp on. Scott?
Can you take me higher?
Thank you, Scott. He's the guitar, too.
The guitar. That was one of my best jokes. That definitely didn't try to get stolen from me.
No, definitely not.
Fun. We were driving to a music festival, and Weezer's "Say It Ain't So" came on, one of my all-time favorite songs, and the solo was on, and I was just like, and I just turned to him and I said, "Man, I should have been a guitar." It was good.
That's great.
Good. And then it was stolen.
Stolen that.
And then my friend Mr. Lopes here was telling me about it, and I was like, "That's a crazy story. It's almost like it was me who said that." And you were like, "Oh," I was like, "Yeah, no. I mean, he was there, but it was me who said that, and it was good. I was killing it, dude.
Oh, dude.
That's guitar like."
Very.
Guitar-like. Thank you, Scott Stapp, for that. We appreciate it.
Oh, man.
But yeah, looking forward to the Red Sox.
Me
Good,
too.
yeah, good stuff, man. I'm happy with that.
So, what's your overall season prediction?
So I have them at 91 and 71, winning the AL East.
I could see that.
I have them at 89-73, also winning the AL East.
I didn't really have a prediction, but I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna say they're gonna be the best team in the AL. They're gonna win 95 games, and they're gonna lose in the playoffs.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I would take that though.
I would too.
Absolutely,
I absolutely take that.
I'm gonna watch Red Sox games for the first time in years,
Yeah,
and not just because I didn't have cable, just because they were unwatchable.
yeah.
Yeah, it was hard to watch them.
2021 was fun.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
2021
yeah,
was
that was
last
really the last time I
Yeah,
watched.
that was I mean,
And I know that sounds like fair weather, but it's like
You know,
the
you can-
product out there is just
you only handle mediocrity for so long.
right.
you're the Red Sox. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be good. You don't have to win every year, but you're supposed
No,
to
but
be.
you have to
good.
at
Not only
least
that, but
try.
When you're being promised every year that we're going to go out and spend money to get free agency, free agents in free agency, and we don't do it. We're not
What?
going out and getting a top caliber star at all to come to the team.
Mm.
Why should I put my time and effort
Tyler
into watching your
O'Neill?
product when you're not investing in it?
Hunter Renfroe. Dude.
I don't call that a fair weather fan or anything.
No, it's not.
No,
It's
yeah.
not. But like, it's just as my own thought
Yeah,
about
no,
it.
I know
I
what
get
you
it.
mean.
It's just, in my mind, it's like, if the team was going out, if this was like early 2000s where we were putting out a, all-star team and we should be there every single year,
Yeah.
I could understand, it would look a little worse if, being like, oh, I don't watch them, but like they've been unwatchable.
Yeah, it's, the good thing about those teams is that even the years that those teams didn't make the playoffs, you still got to watch Manny hit. You got to watch Poppy hit. You got to watch Pedroia. You got to watch all these players that were just fun to watch. Even if you didn't make the playoffs, you still had games where you can be like, oh, that
Right,
was
and
fun
they-
to watch because these players are
They had
fun to
heart,
watch.
though. The teams had heart.
Yeah, exactly.
His team has like no personality
No,
either.
none.
It's like they're not. They don't look like they're having fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know
last
it's
year
like-
it didn't seem that way at all. Like they
Mm.
were having fun. Like they looked miserable.
The first half it wasn't bad. 'Cause
No, but
it was
the second
more-
half of the season.
yeah,
was
second half, yeah,
a nightmare. It
yeah.
was like 2011 all over again.
Yeah, they peaked with Jaron Duran's All-Star MVP.
That exactly.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Right
we,
after the All-Star
did it,
break.
boys.
Yep.
Pack it in.
Yep,
It
we're
was
done
like
for the year
they were
now.
a complete different team in the second half.
Yeah,
No, it was crazy.
it was but I like we all have positive predictions for their overall record, and I generally think that they are a playoff team.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Even if they don't win the AL
Oh, yeah.
East, or like you know what I mean, they'll probably. I don't know. What's there 3 wild card teams now?
Yeah.
I mean, the good thing is they seem like through the spring that they're having a fun time.
Mm.
It seems like everybody's meshing. They seem like they're on the track to being a good team.
Yeah.
So that's a plus.
Mhm.
It would look really bad if we came into spring and the Devers situation had that cloud over the team and then things just went downhill. And then next thing you know, we were the Angels and
Yeah.
Rafael Devers was Anthony Rendon.
I love baseball.
He loves baseball.
I love to play.
Love baseball.
Anthony Rendon loves baseball.
If they didn't pay me, I'd show up more. That's,
I bet.
that's what he said. He said, "Quote Anthony Rendon." We're not kidding, Anthony. We do not want you to come onto the podcast.
Yeah, no, this is not an invite. This isn't a fun invite to you. Absolutely not.
He's gonna be our first guest. 1,000%. You guys don't like me, huh?
We're joined by Anthony Rendon.
I'm gonna fight you like that fan. It's like,
Baseball, huh?
Anthony Rendon, he has made more appearances on this podcast than he has on the Angels in the last 2 seasons. Anthony Rendon. It's his first appearance.
now I have a fun little. Who do you think hates more, Jim Rice with people or Anthony Rendon in baseball?
Oh, dude, that is a question.
Oh, man.
For ages. I don't think anybody can answer that.
I feel like I could. I'm qualified and at least half the spectrum.
Can you tell me your story about the time
Okay,
you met
so-
Mr. Jim Rice?
I met Jim Rice twice. And this is not a shitting on Jim Rice podcast. But I
But it
met,
is
but it
right
could
now.
be.
but right now because he was mean to me and I didn't appreciate it as a young boy. I met Jim Rice at a Red Sox game. For whatever reason, Tiki Barber was there. That was a fun little detail I want to throw in. Don't know why. Tiki Barber was there.
Was he nice?
He was very nice. He said hi.
He seems like a nice guy.
Said hi.
He said hi. Jerry Remy said, "Hey, how you doing, kid?" And he signed my freaking
Oh,
ticket
yeah,
for
that's
me.
Red
It was
Dog.
great.
Rest in
Yeah,
peace, dude.
yeah. R.I.P. Legend.
Follows me on Twitter.
Still.
Yeah, I mean the Rem
Oh, you
Dog
can't-
now.
They're not gonna unfollow.
Yeah, he's not
him.
gonna follow me.
You can't now.
Right.
You're locked in.
But so I'm like near like the booth where they do the pregame and stuff like that. And Jim Rice walks by me. It looks like he's just trying to get to because it looks like they're about to film. I'm like, Jim Rice. And I reached my hand out and he said, "Fuck off, kid." And he kept on walking by me. And I was like, oh, that was Not cool, dude. Goddamn, Jimmy. And then I met him a second time at the Red Sox winter weekend, the first winter weekend. And
The first thing you did was walk right up to him and been like, "Remember me?"
dude, no, here's the funny thing about that is that like you didn't know who you were gonna meet. You go to the room and it's kind of like a time thing. So you kind of like I met Pablo. It was the year they signed Pablo Sandoval. So I met him. He didn't say a word. But legendary. He didn't say a word, but he shook my hand and said, "That's me smiling," and that's all he did. So
I love it.
you didn't know who you're gonna meet when you get there. At the guy at the table, I think it was like Justin Masterson or something like that. Like before he's like signing hats, I'm like, oh, I guess I'll meet Justin Masterson. No offense, Justin Masterson, but I was like, oh, okay.
Come on the podcast.
Come on the podcast,
Anytime you
Justin.
like.
The first ever Jamaican-born baseball player, Justin Masterson. I know that about you. So then I'm like, all right, I guess I'll meet Justin Masterson. And then he leaves because like the shift is over. I don't know. Then Jim Rice comes out and I'm like, fuck. I'm just not happy. I'm holding my hat. I'm like, hey, Jim. I give him my hat and he says, signed my hat, gave it back to me. And I walked away and I was like, that dude sucks. He's so twice.
2 for 2.
2 for 2 met the guy. So Jim, if you ever hear this, you're not. But work on that, buddy. Come on. I'm being nice here. It's the first episode.
When I was a kid, I was looking through my parents' photo albums and stuff, and there's a picture of my dad meeting Jim Rice at Clegg Field for a celebrity softball game.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad loved Jim Rice. That was his favorite baseball player growing up. Like, he wanted to meet him so bad when he found out that he was at Clegg Field. So they went down to Clegg Field to watch the game, and then after the game, everyone mobbed the field, and he ended up getting to meet him and stuff. My dad told me when I brought up the picture, and I was like, oh, you met Jim Rice, and I showed it to him. The first words out of my dad's mouth afterwards were, don't ever meet your heroes because they'll let you down.
Oh, boy.
Because Jim Rice was a piece of shit.
So there's a theme here.
Yeah.
There's a consistent theme. Jim Rice, not a nice guy.
We call him the people hater.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my experience with Jim Rice. If I had to answer that question based off of my limited knowledge of knowing Anthony Rendon personally, it's Jim Rice.
It's Jim Rice.
Jim Rice, yeah.
This was just a piece to talk about Jim Rice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not welcome on the podcast.
Yeah, no, you're mean to me. Unless you want to come on and apologize.
Yeah, you
That will never happen.
explain yourself.
Yeah, explain yourself. He'll probably be like, that didn't happen.
I have like
Jim,
a
I've been talking about it for a long ass time because
decade.
Yeah.
It's
Day
funny.
after.
We were playing Super Mega Baseball. Free plug right there. We're not getting paid for that. Great game. And Super Mega 4 came out. We were really excited, and
They
we
had
were like,
MLB
"Oh,
legends.
Jim Rice," and I was like, "Oh, dude." Lopes was telling me a story about how he's like, the fuck off kid, like, and he was like, funny. I had the same story, man. It's just like, come on, Jim. Come on, dude.
Come on, man.
Every time we hit a home run in Super Mega Baseball with Jim Rice as he's rounding the bases, it shows him rounding, and we always say something as one of the players, like what he would be saying. And we're always like, "Fuck off!"
Yeah.
And whenever he's running around the bags, that's just what he is.
Fuck off, kid.
Yeah.
Jim Rice quote.
I have this softball. I don't know where it is. It's also from a celebrity softball game, I think, at Clegg Field that I have signed by Steve Grogan.
I love that.
Right?
Josh's brother.
It's probably the same game.
Yeah, Josh Grogan. Yeah, it probably was the same game.
Probably was the
My
same
dad
game.
saw Jim Rice and was like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that dude's being a dick over there.
Oh man,
That's too funny.
that was great.
Yeah. So, welcome to the Jim Rice Sucks podcast.
JRS baby.
Sorry, Jim.
You're sorry, Jim.
He's gonna call me later. He's gonna
Like, hey man,
you talking shit about me? Like, what? You don't like me now? You
Never did.
Damn it!
Never did like me.
My weakness.
Yep. Since I was a kid, that guy's not been a fan of me. Don't know what I did. But all right, well.
Thanks for tuning in to our first podcast.
Yeah.
We hope you come back for next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna break down whatever happens between now and
Then.
yeah,
So,
which
yeah,
will
yeah.
be probably about a
Next-
week from now.
yeah,
so
yeah.
Should have about a week full of games
Yeah.
for you guys to
Yeah.
break down.
Break down all the games. Talk about any news that might happen. That is gonna happen. Ain't gonna might happen, but that news that will happen. We'll give you nice, in-depth stuff on it. But it was fun. It was fun. tonight.
On weeks where stuff's not happening, or there's not a lot of news, we'll be talking about other other teams and
Yeah.
the rest of the league. You know, we'll break down trades as they come across.
Talking
So
about Jim Rice. Talking
yeah,
about Rendon.
exactly. A lot of fun stories.
Yep.
You know, you're
Yeah.
gonna get a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
from us.
yeah, right, yeah.
So,
And if you
just
like what we're saying, maybe we'll come out just an episode where we're just talking about stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
not giving out life advice. Like,
Yeah, no, yeah.
but just my experience.
If we're gonna do that, we're gonna charge you money for it. Like, we don't just do that for free. Like,
That's true.
yeah, I mean, obviously,
$50.
yeah, $50 per word.
Per
Per
word.
word. I
All
sell high.
ChatGPT.
I'm.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how are you?
It's like $300 right there.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, right. We're loaded now.
You gotta pay me. You gotta pay me. You gotta pay me. It's like, oh my god,
Damn.
unlimited money glitch.
Oh yeah, but yeah,
Well, hopefully we see you guys all next week.
yep.
Yeah.
Do we shake hands now?
No, we'll just play them out with a nice support. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome. You're welcome.